I'm just going to be honest straight off the bat. This is going to be worse than the Caterham. The Caterham was objectively a bad car. It was slower than F2 cars at some points in the season. But the Manor, my god. With the Caterham, you know, you had the Marussia, you had the Sauber, you had the Lotus at times. They were all fairly equal. They could potentially battle each other throughout the races. But the gap between the Manor and the next car and the rest of the field in general, I don't even have words for it. Well, I did, but I needed to wait an extra 45 seconds, otherwise I'd get demonetised. Here we go again. Have fun finishing P19 every race. Cheers, mate. Have fun finishing P20 every race. Even more optimistic. Appreciate it. It can't be worse than the Caterham. That's a bold statement. Ha. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Cheers, Gabe. Oh dear me. That's encouraging. Have fun scoring a brilliant 0 points all season. Cheers, Magnussen. Always appreciate your support. Oh, show you. God, I hope that doesn't backfire. Welcome to my 2,000 subscribers special. For 1,000 subs, I did a full season with the Caterham on F1 2014-15. For 2,000 subs, you know, some people want me to drive the 2021 Haas. Other people want me to drive the 2019 Williams. You sick fucks. But it made sense to me to just continue on to F1 2015 and do a full season in the Manor. Sorry, I think I just threw open my mouth a little bit. Now going into this, I shockingly had never driven the Manor before. One, because when F1 2015 came out, you had to wait for an update for it to be added to the game. And two, it's so bad. Why would anyone want to drive it? So going into this, I'd never driven the Manor before. It was easily the worst car on the grid, without any question whatsoever, and it somehow made the Caterham look capable. So prior to starting this heinous task, I decided I'm going to do some pre-season testing. I gave myself a 90-minute practice session, and I genuinely just tried to practice with this car. And fuck me, did I need it. Now going into this practice session, I had 3 questions that needed answering. Should I do this season with ABS off? I got the answer to that one before my first timed lap. Question 2, arguably the most important, just how bad was this car? The answer was genuinely one of the most unpleasant experiences I've ever had in an F1 game. And I've done a full season in the Caterham. I never truly understood the story of the 2014 Ferrari having both understeer and oversteer within corners. Until now, I've genuinely never had to fight a car through every single corner like I did of this pathetic piece of red and white shit. I know personally Spain isn't a strong track for me, but I was kind of hoping I would be able to at least beat my teammate. We failed, but I was far more concerned about the gap between myself and everyone else. And my final question to be answered in pre-season testing was, should I run strict corner cutting for this season? I'm in comfortably the worst car, the AI will consistently try and kill me, and I'm the one driving. I've got enough going against me already. And just to add to what was the worst preseason testing I could possibly have, the relationship between myself and Jeff has never been worse, because after every single lap, he would say this without fail.
You're off the pace in all 3 sectors.
Oh, you think I'm joking? Allow me to show you the highlights of my pre-season testing.
You're off the pace in all 3 sectors. 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 In all 3 sectors.
Shut up!
So that's how pre-season went. I was now going into the season having never regretted my life choices more.
This is where the fun begins.
Now I knew from the previous 2 career modes that I'd done on this game in the past couple months that the start of the season wasn't going to be easy, because I simply wasn't good at the tracks. The old layout of Australia I've never been good at anyway. Malaysia seems to be a really difficult track on this game. China, given my history there, the less said about China the better. Bahrain's admittedly my strongest track of the first 5 races, and Spain, I mean, we've already seen how I can handle Spain in a manner. So going into the first 5 races, I really wasn't expecting anything. And yet somehow I was still disappointed. The first qualifying of the season went as well as you'd expect. We qualified P19 ahead of my teammate, massively off everyone else. And without any listening to Crofty, because frankly I've had enough of him, we're away in Australia, getting a shocking start of course. Stevens has got past us, but into turn number 1, we're going to try and make up as many positions as possible, going around the outside of Fernando Alonso, that's Jenson Button. Now behind Fernando Alonso, out of turn number 2, we're on to P18. It's been a pretty good start. We're going to send it on Alonso, the 2 Saubers and Pastor Maldonado, battling with him through turn number 3, and up into P14 we go. I bet you guys didn't never mind, we're down to P15. Coming into turn number 9, we're still right in the back of Pastor Maldonado. We're going to go around his outside, making the most of the crappy AI on lap number 1, and we're back up in the P14. What a start in the Manor. And yes, that was a brilliant start. What more could you ask from an opening lap? The one issue was, that's kind of all I had. Once the AI found their pace, I was absolutely fucked. As you can see up ahead, you can't see anyone up ahead, and we're under pressure from Ericsson on lap number 4. He's going to go to the outside turn number 1. Of course it's got to be Ericsson. I'm going to hit the back of him, slow ourselves up a bit. And then Maldonado comes in, and so does Nazar, and just beats me up and leaves me on the exit of turn number 2 with a broken wing 3 laps in. Now working out blame for this one is an interesting one, because obviously the major factor is the crappy 2015 physics. I just got stuck on the back of Ericsson, and then what happened. However, in my defence, I wasn't expecting Ericsson to brake check me on the exit of a fucking corner. I also wasn't expecting Pastor Maldonado or Felipe Nasr to absolutely fuck me on the exit of the corner. I wasn't expecting Nasr to fuck me on the exit of the corner. But I will level with you early. The second something like that would happen, there's absolutely no point in me continuing. I'm not getting anything from these races. If I was going to get something, I needed to drive a perfect race. Obviously, wing damage on lap number 4, not the most ideal. So 1 race in, we get taken out, and we're going to be retiring. 18 to go. Next up was Malaysia, and on my second time lap I found myself in a slipstream of Kimi Raikkonen down towards the final corner. He's going to hold me up a little bit into the final corner, but honestly, given the benefit he's given me, never mind, I have fucked it into the wall. Fun facts about this game. The dirt of the air is frighteningly realistic. I mean, I just lost all downforce while I was behind Raikkonen. Alright, that one was completely on me. Despite only getting 1 lap in, we do get a season best qualifying. P18. Believe me, at this stage in the season, that felt more impressive than it actually is. So P18 for the Malaysian Grand Prix, we've got a long run down to turn 1, so it will be P20 by the braking zone. It's a shocking start, Alonso gets me off the line, as does Stevens, and we're comfortably in last place. Heading down towards turn number 1, we're just going to send it on as many people as we can, which given our poor start, is only 2 people. We get on the inside of Maldonado, up in the P17, can we go on the outside of the Toro Rosso or the Sauber? No we cannot, but we can get a better exit than Ericsson. No we can't, we've lost the back end, but we still managed to get past him, up in the P16. It's definitely not as good as the Australia start, but we're going to send it up the inside of Max Verstappen. In that Toro Rosso, he's one that definitely terrifies me this season. But we're up in the P15. Let's watch the AI drive away from us. On lap 2, we're watching the AI drive away from us. We're under pressure from Verstappen, obviously. Even if he doesn't take me into the final corner, which it doesn't look like he's going to, he's going to have a brilliant run down towards turn number 1. And I'm in a Manor, so this is going to go great. There's a queue of cars behind me. Let's see how many people overtake me down towards turn number 1. Verstappen's going to my outside. I think Maldonado is as well.
Green flag, we're racing again. Your front wing is damaged, performance will be affected.
I'll be honest, that seems harsh. So it turns out that while Verstappen was trying to overtake me, as was Maldonado trying to overtake the pair of us, 3 into 1 doesn't go, and that is 2 for 2 races we have DNF'd from. On to China. It seemed I was getting the hang of this car at this stage, even though I hadn't actually driven it that much because I kept getting taken out. But on the exit of the final corner, for my final lap in qualifying at the Chinese Grand Prix, we put it P16, which, again, doesn't sound impressive, but in this car, that's incredible. Mary's happy. It's also always a good sign when you're 2.8 seconds faster than your teammate. Well, the 2 Chinese Grand Prix I've done in this game have ended horrifically fast. So let's see how this one goes. Lights out and away we go. P16 on the grid. It's not as long a run down to turn number 1. And it's not as bad a start. We've almost lost 2 positions, but we're going to get it back into turn number 1. We're going to hug the inside line as much as humanly possible. Borderline cutting the corner. And we're just going to go up the inside of everyone. It's been a phenomenal first couple corners. On the exit of turn number 3 or 4 or whatever corner number this is, we're side by side of NASA, but we're in the top 10. And into the braking zone of turn number 6, we're going to go up the inside of Grosjean. So, one sector in, admittedly, we're in P9, at arguably my worst track on this game. Obviously, we're not going to go chasing down Verstappen, however, we've got a decent gap to Grosjean. We're on lap number 2. There is a brief yellow flag behind me. That's unfortunate, it would have been great if it was ahead of me, but at least it's not me. For once. But one thing I was able to learn about this car in this race. My god, was it shocking in the corners. But down the straight, with that Ferrari engine, for the first time since I played this game back in 2015, I was driving a car that had power. And my god, have I forgotten what that felt like. Sector 2 was absolutely painful. And I don't have any words to describe just how painful it was. Any kind of corners, this car was just shocking. And because of that, we're going to come under pressure from Perez into the 3rd sector. It's a Mercedes versus a Ferrari, but this time we might have a chance. It's got past us, but we will have slipstream. Never mind, I've ran wide and I've dropped out of the points. We're down to P12. Why is Vettel behind me? Well, it's okay. We've got DRS, we've got slipstream. Look at how much we pull away from the McLaren Honda. Is that what AI felt like when overtaking my Sauber? Quite possibly. But unfortunately, yes, we have lost out to P9 and P10 and P11. But we're still in a decent place. P12 in a Manor. That's good. At this stage, all I wanted was an incident-free race. So far, we're doing it.
2 cars in one go. Great job. Really impressive.
Jeff, they're in the pit. It did feel like some people were going for 2 stops, given how early people were stopping. So by lap number 6, we're currently in P6. We're being hassled by Carlos Sainz and basically the entire grid by this point. Side by side into the hairpin. We're still in a phenomenal position for the Manor. Rosberg is obviously going to get by me. I do not want to be dealing with him at all. Especially since we'll be coming into the pit at the
is badly damaged. You've lost a lot of downforce on the car. Pit and we'll fit you a new front wing. Going off the
I mean, he clearly brake checked me.
Just listen to the lack of accountability.
We end up dropping down to, once again, last place. I did continue on, however, I'm going to be so honest. Driving this car at the back with absolutely nothing to fight for is the most boring thing I've ever experienced. And quite frankly, I've got 19 races to do in this car. I'm not wasting any time. So 3 races in, 3 incidents with other cars. Arguably, some are my fault, but Bahrain is a track that I do enjoy. I've not been too successful on it this game, however, I do enjoy the track. Maybe now we're going to have a clean race. We seem to be getting good qualifying results, so hopefully now we can capitalise, we can make the most of a good qualifier. So we qualify P19.
They've been working so hard as a team and they've been rewarded.
Again, so we're away in Bahrain. It's a bad start. Who would have guessed? I think you can see where this is going. We're going to send it on everyone we can into turn number 1. Straight up into P14. We end up hitting the back of Button and ruining our momentum onto the second straight. We hold on to position and we're going to send it, I think, into turn number 4. Nope, apparently not. We're going to go around the outside of Button instead and still fail. We're being outclassed by a McLaren Honda. We can't be having that, so into turn number 8 we're just going to send it. Absolutely send it on Jensen Button. Up into P13 we go. A pretty typical lap 1 from myself. Let's see who takes us out this race. All joking aside, I don't know what it was about qualifying. I failed in qualifying. However, during the race, I felt a lot more comfortable. I managed to get up into P13. Obviously I was defending against faster cars behind me, but I did feel like I somewhat had pace. We were once again battling NASA into turn number 9. What a phenomenal defensive move that was. Oh, I've taken him out. With the exception of the questionable driving, I'll be honest, on this game you kind of got to drive questionably to get anything from this shit game. But by lap number 6 I obviously hadn't stopped yet. We were up in a P7, we'd had a retirement. Knowing my luck, it was someone that was slower than me anyway. We had an absolutely massive train behind me, but thankfully it was the McLaren Honda that was first in line. The only car I was quicker than down the straight. I say that as he overtakes me into turn 11. But for the first time this season, we have made it to my scheduled pit stop. We're currently P8. It's going well so far. I don't think we'll be going for points given how we're now down to P15 after our stop. But it's going well. Kind of. Genuinely, this was a really good race. You can see by lap number 9 I moved up into P12. Button had somehow driven away from me, which was... it was disappointing, let's say that. But more disappointing was we had Maldonado absolutely cruising past me down the straight of DRS. Obviously with that Mercedes powered Lotus. We're going to try and outbrake him around the outside of turn number 1. Use the crappy AI to our advantage, and we do indeed get back past him. Up into P11 after someone makes a pit stop. If there is a retirement ahead, we could be on for our first point of the season. So long as we can defend against Maldonado, which we've shown we can, and we have decent straight line speed. We've just got to not throw it away for 5 more laps. Knowing I had to rely on a DNF to get some points, I decided I'm going to play some DRS games with Maldonado. Braking early into the final corner, we're going to get DRS on him down the back straight, and we're going to show you just how quick this car is in a straight line. I don't know how it's this quick, probably because it's got no downforce dragging it down. But down towards turn number 1. Honestly, we don't close up that much, but we close up enough to send it into turn number 1, and we once again stay ahead of Maldonado as we come on to lap number 11. Things definitely got harder as the race progressed. This car is shocking on tyre wear, and believe me, about 4 laps into a stint, the tyres were just shocking compared to everyone else. As you can see, Maldonado gets up my inside in turn number 11. However, we do have yellow flags ahead. Please don't let it be a lap car. We could be fighting Maldonado for the final points paying position here in Bahrain. We've got a slow moving car through the final corner. Into the braking zone we go. Maldonado brake checks me. Thank you so much, Maldonado. But we've got a slow moving Sainz in P10. Maldonado hits the back of him. And because Maldonado hits the back of him at the worst possible angle for me, he pivots his car around directly into my path. And with 3 laps to go, that's another broken wing and another race ruined. For the first time on this game, the AI actually try and go around a lap car, and because it's Maldonado, he drives straight into the back of Sainz and fucks my race. I end up staying out because I thought it's only half wing damage. I'm just going to try and brave it out. I learned very quickly this car genuinely worse than the Caterham. It does not have downforce to lose, because even with half a wing, this car is diabolical. I do end up coming into the pit. We drop down to P16. We're going to get a race finish. It could have been a top 10 finish, but the game said no. 4 races in, 4 incidents. Fuck you, game.
Later that same evening.
Oh, he wasn't P10, he was P19. Ever since I recorded this race, I've genuinely been so pissed off because I thought he was P10. I should really re-record that. I'm not going to. On to Spain, the track I've done the most practice at, as you saw. I think you can see where this is going. P19. Yeah, I suck at Spain. But we are going to start P18 because Button has a penalty. Not that that extra position will matter because we'll lose it in the first 5 meters of the start. Let's see, can we go a race without an incident? Can we just go, please, can we go 1 race without an incident? It's actually been a surprisingly good start. We've held position and we've absolutely sent it, as we do, up into P14. There's some carnage going on behind me. Do I care? Clearly not. I don't even bother looking back. Wow. That's how little I care by this point. We're on the inside of Grosjean into turn number 3. On to P13. We're going to need some luck to score points in this race. But so far, I've done everything I can. We've got the best start possible. Now we've got to hope for some luck. Which obviously, in this car, it ain't going to fucking happen. I did, however, have actually, for once, decent pace. I was staying, for the first time this season, I was staying with the cars ahead and I was pulling away from the cars behind. I don't know how. It can't have been the practice I did because, as you saw, the practice went horrifically. But in race pace, I was doing alright. We go up to P11 thanks to pit stops. Lap number 3. Could the AI go for 2 stops? Could I make the most of this? This might not be dead yet. We might be onto something. On to lap number 4, and I'm still with the Toro Rossos. I've got DRS on Sainz and he's towing me along. We're up into P10 thanks to pit stops. We've actually got some pace here. I don't know where it's come from, but we've actually got pace at Spain. And unlike what I thought in Bahrain, Sainz is actually on the lead lap this time. So with that possibility alive, the AI obviously had to kill it as quickly as humanly possible. We hit the back of Sainz as he comes into the pit. Thank you, Sainz. We go on to continue, and then it's just Ericsson that hits me round, and then Maldonado collects me at the final corner. Once again, we've broken our wing through no fault of our own, and we're out of the race, basically. We do have decent pace, but we've got a broken wing, and we have to do a full lap. You know what, we've been taken out before we can even do a full lap. Purely because of my decent pace though, I decide I'm not giving up this time. We've come out in P19, we are miles off the pack, but they could be going for 2 stops. We could actually get something from this race. We've had a horrible turn 1, a horrible turn 2, and we've hit the barrier, and you know what, I'm just gonna call time of death on that one. What a phenomenal first 5 races. I can't go on!
conditions should remain dry. We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather. You're currently the fastest person on the track. You've dropped down to P2.
Vettel has denied us a phenomenal pole position at Monaco, but we are going to start on the front row of the grid at the track you can't overtake at. And this time, I want to redeem myself. I want to score points at Monaco. It genuinely may be the only time this season I'm going to score points in this car. Obviously, we're not going to get a good launch. I don't even care about getting a podium. I just want to score points. 5 lights. Away we go. It's a shocking start. Rosberg's got past us. The other Ferrari of Raikkonen's got past us. We're side by side into turn number 1. Up the hill we go. I do not want to be side by side of any cars this race. I do not want to risk getting taken out. We're going to let Raikkonen go. Down to P4. Do I care? Absolutely not. All I care about is that number in the top left hand corner saying at least P10 by the end of these 20 laps. And of course, making it 20 laps. By lap number 3, the top 3 had obviously pulled away. Overall, I did not have the race pace this race, and Hamilton was pushing me through every single corner. Through the tunnel we go. He's going to go around the outside into the chicane. I want nothing to do with him. We're going to leave him space. We're going to let him drive away. I don't care. We're P5 in a Manor. Oh, for fuck's sake. We're P6 in a Manor. Once anyone overtook me, they could just drive away. That's fine by me. We did have quite a questionable train. Oh Christ, it's Kvyat.
The front tyres are locking. Try moving the brake balance to the rear.
Are you fucking serious? Well, this really isn't going well, but we're on track. We're still P8. At the end of lap number 9, we're going to come into the pit for our, hopefully, it better be our one and only stop. Onto the prime tyres. Please. All we need is to not make mistakes. That's all. And obviously to not get taken out, which is a bit more of an ask on this game. But we've come out ahead of Ricciardo, who was P9. So we're currently, we're net P8. We're still not now Stevens. Not, are you fucking serious? What the fuck? Get out the way. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. I try and send it into turn number 5, and then I remember the AI will just run me into the wall if we go side by side through there, so I have to back out. I have to sit behind Stevens. If this guy costs me points, my own teammate, at the one time I'm on track for them, I'll be honest, I may snap this disc in half. I may be done at this game if this happens. I genuinely can't believe how perfectly timed that was that he got out just ahead of me. So for the entirety of lap number 10, he's holding me up on worn tyres. He's still in the way. He's acting like the two of us are fighting for a world championship. We're in a fucking Manor. It took me an entire lap to get alongside him into the penultimate corner. With fresher tyres and with the crappy AI, we do go around outside at the final corner. Stevens, you better hold up Ricciardo. If you just let Ricciardo through, I swear to God. Will Stevens' antics has cost us P8. Thank you so much, teammate. But we are ahead of Button in P9. Arguably the best car to have behind me. We're going to be stronger in a straight line. That may be all we need for the rest of this race. All we need to do is not make any mistakes. But you know what? For once, I fucking did it. Not only did I not make any mistakes, I managed to stay with Sergio Perez. Furthermore, on the last lap, I had a shot at P8. I had a shot at overtaking someone, being faster than someone at Monaco. Obviously it was very risky going for a move on AI, especially on the last lap while in the points. We were lining them up for a penultimate corner overtake, which is my favourite in this game. We were no longer lining them up for a penultimate corner overtake. That scare very much made me concede that I was coming home P9 in this race. And if Button had anything to say about that, he was going in the wall. We're going to finish still, even though we're going to come home in P9 at Monaco. We're still not going to go a race without damaging our front wing. But finally, after 2 attempts of failing spectacularly, we've scored points at Monaco. And somehow it's been in the worst car that we've driven that we've done it. Don't celebrate too much, Mary. It is a Manor. So not only have we broken the Monaco curse on F1 2015, we've scored points in a Manor. We're not going to finish the season pointless. That may be the only 2 points we scored this season. That means for the first time this season we don't need to be embarrassed about looking at the standings. We're P16. Just me? Okay. And it also means in the constructors... Oh, for fuck's sake.
Meh.
But the TV gave me the impression that...
We said meh.
So we've got our first points of the season in the Manor. Does that mean we can build on this? We can carry momentum. We're going into Canada now. A track that a car with top speed benefits massively from. The only trait we have. Can we actually get some momentum? And maybe score more points? No, because the first track of the season where this car would actually suit the track, it fucking rains. So we've lost our advantage in a straight line, and I'll be honest, this race was absolutely terrible. We did not carry the good fortune from Monaco. Not that we had any good fortune in Monaco, really. We qualified P18, we go up to P17 for the first complex of corners. We're then going to go up to P16 because Bottas has found the wall. And then into turn 6, we're going to send it on Roman Grosjean. Going up to P15 because that's just what we do. We send it on the AI in lap number 1 and then worry about the rest later. But I will say, this P15, this is the best it's going to get in Canada. The rest of the race, I was absolutely suffering in this car, in these conditions. I realised, I don't think I've actually done that many wet races on this game, especially in the recent career mode. And I also learnt that either maybe it was due to me, or the car, or the game, but I can't really drive in the wet. I know this Manor isn't the best tester for that, but throughout this race, I was having a horrible time. I was hating every second of this. We tried desperately to defend against the cars that were overtaking us, but I was so slow this race. And by slow I mean just constantly fucking up. Especially at this chicane. Every single lap. It was bad. It was really bad. So bad that by lap number 6, Bottas was already caught up to me and overtaken me. And then I ended up putting him in the wall. I thought I was clear. I thought being the outside car, he would back out. He didn't. This was just a shocking race. I did, however, do my trademark move into the chicane, and to use my favourite line, I don't think I've ever scared the AI offline more. But yeah, this was just... It was a horrible race. I don't have enough words to describe just how unpleasant this was. And on lap number 7, we make contact with Bottas again. This time we spin ourselves round. And spoiler alert, we're coming home last this race. This was the bad one. We also, for the first time this season, we get lapped. And as you can see as we cross the line, I'd kind of lost it this race.
Sorry.
Despite how bad Canada went, Austria actually went surprisingly well, at least it started surprisingly well. You join me in qualifying, I currently sit P9, which is a phenomenal banker lap time, and on my final lap we're going to track extend at the final corner, DRS to the line, and we're going to put it in P8 in a Manor for the Austrian Grand Prix. So I imagine we'll be P12, P14 by turn number 1, lights out and away we go. It's a bad start. As you'd expect, we're down to P10, down to P11. You know what? That's not as bad as I thought. Sainz has absolutely sent in the turn 1, hit the back of Kvyat and spun himself round. He's held me up at the exit of turn number 1. We're still in the top 10, however, we have immediately lost all time to the front runners. Not that we would have been catching them anyway. Hopefully though, now that it's dry, I can use the top speed of this car to my advantage. That turn 1, both benefit me and arguably hindered me even more. Yeah, Austria, I didn't have to pace Austria because despite there only being 9 corners, through none of them was I quick by any means. And at the end of lap number 2, we're being pressured by Maldonado into the penultimate corner. There was only one driver on this grid that would go for a move at the penultimate corner of Austria. And unfortunately, he's the one behind me. He tries to go for a move up the inside of the final corner. I just cut him off because I'm not being taken out by past Maldonado. And that results in there being carnage at the final corner. Cars coming together. But that incident has given me a lifeline and it has created a little bit of a gap between myself and P11. One lap later and that gap between myself and P11 has completely gone. We've got Hulkenberg behind into turn number 1. Now we've got Hulkenberg ahead out of turn 1. We're going to try and get a cutback on him. We actually do get a better run through turn number 1, but it's a Ferrari powered engine versus a Mercedes. And as you can see, as has been the case throughout the entirety of this game, Hulkenberg is going to pull away. We're going to try and send up the inside of the hairpin. We end up being a coward and obviously it doesn't pay off. We hit the back of Hulkenberg, but he does pull away. And coming on to lap number 6, the downward spiral is just getting faster and faster. We've got Verstappen behind us now. Into turn number 1, he gets up inside. We try and perform the same move as we did with Hulkenberg. This time I lose the back end thanks to the worn tyres. And that is basically my race over. Once again, I've bottled a decent qualifying, but admittedly, given my pace this race, points were definitely going to be unlikely, especially with what happened to turn 1. And following a very boring race, we're going to come home P15, just ahead of Ericsson. This guy is seriously haunting me this season. He will not leave me alone, but we'll add Austria to the list of underwhelming and subpar performances. Luckily though, next up we're going to Britain, a track that, as we've seen in the Sauber and the Caterham, it's just a track that I'm able to perform at.
Is that it?
Lights out and away we go. Down to P19. We're going to go on the outside of everyone at turn number 1. Try and make up as many positions as we can, and then we'll probably send up the inside of turn number 3. It's been a pretty decent start considering my actual start off the line. Up into P15 we go, side by side with the McLaren. Made that P14. That's probably going to be the highest we're going to get this race, considering Ericsson has already driven away from me. We did a relatively good job on the opening lap. We managed to hold on to P14. We've got Perez behind me now. Another car who I've really come to love in this game, and I'm loving him even more now. He's taken me out for no reason. He's not even got past me. He just stuck his nose in at the apex and spun me round. Let's have a look at his POV. He literally just drives into me. Thanks, Perez. I continue to get harassed throughout the entirety of lap number 2. Perez and then Maldonado decide, let's go 3 wide through Cops, why not? Absolutely fucking terrifying, and because of that I just run wide. I want absolutely nothing to do with these cars. Somehow I have survived. We're still side by side of Maldonado through Mags and Beckett's. We then hit the back of Perez, and that is well and truly game over. Thank you, Codemasters, for your phenomenal contact model. Thank you to Perez for being a pussy through Mags and Beckett's and not just driving at a normal speed. And thank you for Maldonado for once again being involved in a crash that I'm in, so that I can blame him and feel a lot better about myself. I did intend to go to the end just to get another finish under my belt, even though I was definitely coming home in last place. We make it to my pit stop, but unfortunately I was slightly hot-headed at this point, and yep, that's how my race ended. How the fuck? Moving on to Hungary. We qualify P19, and if you've watched any other races I've done on this game at this track, this one's going to be shit. Bet you wouldn't have guessed that. We've lost out to Stevens off the line. Down towards turn number 1, we're going to send it as we do. We're side by side with Alonso. We've lost out to Alonso. I'm in P15. Can we get Alonso into turn number 3? Yes, we can. Sort of. We're side by side. Are we just going to force him off track? No, we're going to leave him room. Why am I being pleasant? Oh, I'm not. I'm track ascending and we've got the position. Definitely not legal, but I don't care. We're definitely not getting points this race. And so the suffering begins. You know it's bad when I'm under pressure from a McLaren Honda in a straight line. You know it's also bad when Ericsson has absolutely cruised past me with straight line speed. We're side by side to turn number 1. Almost losing the back end on the exit. We've managed to defend against Ericsson. No, we haven't. He's still side by side of me. I don't understand how the Sauber is so good in a straight line. But yeah, this was, as you can imagine, this is my race. I was being harassed by Ericsson. And unfortunately, Ericsson beat me, which I wasn't too happy about, so I ram him. And then I forced him off track. Yeah, I'd kind of lost my head by this point, I'll be honest. There's only so much driving a 2015 Manor that a man can take before even his therapist isn't enough. And especially with Ericsson being the one trying to overtake me. It just brought back a lot of old, horrible memories of when we were racing together in the Caterham, and, you know, just... This is difficult. This is a very difficult time for me. By no means is this an easy or rewarding or pleasant task. After race upon race of, you know, diving up the inside turn number 1, having a decent lap number 1, then defending for the following 15 laps and then being taken out, or making a mistake, or being held in the pit, or being overtaken by one of the worst teammates I've ever had. It breaks you. It genuinely breaks you. Even more so when you have the knowledge that we're only at the summer break. We're only halfway there. Following Hungary, I took a much needed break, which is why this video has taken a little longer to get out. I was hoping to get out before F1 25. I needed a break. I originally planned to record this basically over the course of a weekend, you know, 19 races in 2 days in a Manor, just being consistently incompetent and hating every second of it. I couldn't do it, so I took a bit of a break. I took up drinking. Now let's get on with the final half of this season and let's get this over with.
In terms of results, Mick, it can't go on like this, can it?
Jumping back into Hungary, qualified P18. Lights out, away we go for Spa. Another track that I have done relatively well compared to other races in this game. Stevens has absolutely sent it. Taken a page out of my book into turn number 1. We haven't been so lucky. We've been bullied by Alonso on the exit of turn number 1. But we are going to get him thanks to our top speed. And even before El Rouge, we've cruised past the McLaren Honda. Thank God does it feel good to be quicker than a car again. And thanks to the minimal downforce I had in this car, we were able to catch into the back of Stevens by the braking zone of turn number 5. I will happily lose to Stevens if I feel the need to rage quit or crash out deliberately. I am not losing to him on pure pace. We were incredibly quick in a straight line, however this middle sector is where I was obviously going to struggle. However, up ahead, I don't really know how to explain that, but we're up in the P13. It's good to see the AI struggling with the contact model just as much as I am. He was quicker than me in the middle sector, however, because I had no downforce in this car, through the first and third sector, he had absolutely no chance, and into the Nouvelle chicane. That's the wrong fucking country. Into the bus stop chicane. We get past Mary. I'm Mary. Stevens. We get past Stevens. It was looking like this is going to be the best we're going to get. However, on lap number 2, or at the end of lap number 2, we have cars coming into the pit for whatever reason. Are they going for a 2-stop? If they're going for a 2-stop, all we need to do is not make mistakes. I don't think there's been a point this season where I've said that and I haven't gone on to make a mistake. However, I feel a lot more confident in Belgium. Now that I've taken a break and collected my thoughts a bit, I feel more competent. Lap number 5, and somehow Ericsson has overtaken me in a straight line. Which is complete bullshit because I've got no downforce in this car. And not only has he overtaken me, which has hurt my ego, he's also incredibly slow everywhere else. And also NASA is... I fucking hate these Saubers. At the end of the lap we come into the pit, just behind Ericsson, which is... I developed a real hatred, a genuine hatred of Ericsson this season. Even more so than when he was in a Caterham. Because he was beating me. And it was really, really hurting me. I can't lie. But with the final stint in this race, we're going to come out in P16. It's not looking great. Better than normal, but still not great. We do end up going back up into P12 thanks to pit stops. However, the Sauber was just ridiculous. And I don't get it. I get that I'm in a Manor, but it is Marcus Ericsson behind the wheel. It shouldn't be that fast. As the race drew to a close, I was under pressure from Max Verstappen through the middle sector. And by this point my tyres were just completely shot. I was not having a good time, especially through the middle sector. You can see both Button and Verstappen are behind me. Verstappen's gone up the inside into Pouon. There's absolutely nothing I can do. Verstappen has driven away from me already. Next up is the McLaren. We're obviously going to be quicker down the straights, which is going to help me massively. We just got to keep it together in the middle sector. Jumping to Pouon once again on lap number 10. Is it going to be a carbon copy of what Verstappen did to me? Nope, we're going to defend against Button this time. But on these tyres at this stage, it was not going to be easy whatsoever. Coming down towards turn number 11. We've just got to get through these 2 corners and then we should be... Nope, we've been hit by Button. What the fuck? I like to assume Button got damaged from that because from that point we weren't under any pressure for the final lap of the race and coming through the final corner. It's not much, but it's P13 with a massive train of cars behind me. Honestly, given the run of form I've been on, I'll happily take a P13. We didn't get points, but we didn't get damage and I didn't lose my sanity. I'll take that as a win. Fuck. So on my return I have a relatively good result. We're now going to Italy, a track that is very top speed dependent. And all season I've been saying this car is quick in a straight line. I guess now is the time to find out if it actually is. On my final lap in qualifying, we get onto the back of Fernando Alonso down the back straight, who gives me a beautiful slipstream down towards Parabolica. He doesn't actually get in the way too much. He's going to try around the outside at the final corner, which isn't actually going to hinder us all too much. And up to the line we go for our final lap in qualifying. It's P11. So it's lights out and away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. The initial launch, honestly, not too bad. We lost out to Kvyat, but that might be one of my best starts of the season. Looking to the inside of turn number 1, as is a McLaren Honda. I think that's Alonso at my inside. It's been a fairly clean-ish first couple of corners, considering we're 3 wides. I've managed to get away with it, and we're up into P9. Behind Roman Grosjean, ahead of Max Verstappen, in the slipstream of Roman Grosjean down towards the second chicane. We're going to look to the outside, then go to the inside, up the inside of the Lotus, and we're up into P8 with a McLaren Honda ahead of me. I've proven this car is quicker than a McLaren Honda in a straight line at numerous points this season, so I'd like to think Alonso won't be staying ahead of me for long. I've got absolutely no idea what's going on behind me, but it's creating a lovely gap for me, so I'm just going to take full advantage of it. In the slipstream of Fernando Alonso down towards Parabolica, once again, like we did in qualifying, we're going to close up into the braking zone, and surely, down the pit straight, we should easily cruise past this guy. We obviously don't have DRS yet, but by the look of it, I don't think we'll be needing it. Cruising past Fernando Alonso, up into P7. This car has pace at this track. I've just got to not make mistakes. We can get points here. Weirdly, the 2 tracks we're strongest at is Monaco and Monza, which doesn't make sense at all. And despite being in a McLaren Honda, Alonso was concerningly quick, and with the help of DRS he's going to pull alongside me down towards Ascari. He doesn't manage to get ahead of me, but I want absolutely nothing to do with that. I do not want to be taken out at this stage in the race. We're going to let him through. We'll get him down the next straight, I'm sure. We're actually weirdly very close to the front runners. They're clearly battling quite dramatically ahead, and up ahead they're going side by side into Parabolica.
I sat there like that for 20 minutes.
So by lap number 4, who would have guessed that it would have been a battle between a McLaren Honda and a Manor for P4 in Monza? I don't think anyone would have guessed that, but down towards turn number 1, on lap number 5, DRS open, we're going to cruise past the McLaren Honda. Up into P4 we go. I don't think we'll be going for a podium unless of course there's another crash. I would have happily let Alonso go and just let him drive away. The only issue was because of the nature of the track, he couldn't drive away because he's in the McLaren Honda. We've got another yellow flag. I was fully expecting us to see another car and maybe go into the top 3 there, but I think somehow Alonso had an incident. Well, I guess that's one less thing for me to worry about. We can now cruise home to an easy P4. Hopefully. That'd be nice. At the end of lap number 6, we're going to come into the pit. This is the most important pit stop you will ever make, Manor team. Please don't fuck this up. Please don't let me get held. I think I've got a decent gap to everyone around me, so there shouldn't be anyone. If that's Sauber pit crew, hold me up. They don't, thank God. We're going to get out in P7 in the points. I think I'm still net P4, and my closest challenger is Daniel Ricciardo in a Renault-powered Red Bull, so we may well legitimately have the pace to hold on to this P4. We move back up into P4 thanks to pit stops, but we do have Rosberg behind, wanting to take this P4, and you know what? I'm just going to let him have it. I am not getting taken out by Nico fucking Rosberg at this point in the race. He can take P4, I will take P5. We've now got Grosjean behind me, 3.6 seconds. It is a Mercedes powered car, however, this car is quick here. We were helped massively by the fact that Grosjean and Ricciardo were fighting each other. My preview is just frozen. I think Premiere has just crashed. No, it hasn't. We're back. It's ruining the moment. We were helped even more by whatever chaos happened on lap number 2, but it doesn't matter. I have just finished 5th in a Manor, and we didn't even need to fight for it. Once again, I don't have to be embarrassed about looking at the driver's standings. Obviously, we're not going for the title. If I could just scroll down, please. If I could just scroll down just a little bit. Thank you. There I am. P13. 12 points. It doesn't sound that impressive, but my God, you have no idea how happy I was with that result. Especially because it meant I was ahead of Marcus Ericsson. That was really... That was my main goal this season. And in the Constructors, finally, Manor are off the bottom step. Up into P8, ahead of Sauber. My God, that's just absolutely beautiful. So I just got my best result of the season, P5 in Italy. This time, could I build upon this? We're going to Singapore, a track that I obviously love. A track that I've admittedly never performed well at. However, this season we've broken the Monaco curse. Could I break the Singapore curse too? Well, in qualifying it wasn't awful. We qualified P15, which, given my current form, is pretty good. We're away in Singapore. It's a difficult track to overtake. at least past lap number 1, so we need to make the most of this opening lap. We've had a pretty poor start. Round the outside of turn number 1 is actually pretty damn clean. Up into P14, up the inside of Button in turn 3. Side by side on the exit, it's going to be a drag race down towards the next braking zone. He's got the inside line, we've got the outside, but the AI backing out of it on the opening lap. We're now challenging Carlos Sainz as we come onto the straight. He goes immediately defensive. Annoyingly though, we just didn't have the straight line speed with this setup, but it doesn't matter, we're going to go up the inside into the braking zone. Up into P12 we go. It's been a phenomenal start for us. As you can see, as expected, everyone had driven away from me and had a nice train of cars behind me. First up was Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso. A car that I was thankfully quicker than in the straight line, at least mostly. With DRS it was a little bit tense, but at the end of lap number 3, we've got cars coming into the pit already. Is that hinting at a 2-stop? We'll go up into P10. Absolutely not are we going for a 2-stop, we're sticking for a 1-stop. So I've said it before and I'll say it again, if we can keep it clean and make this 1-stop work, we could get more points. Could we genuinely get back-to-back points in this season? To make it work though, we needed to hold as many positions as we possibly could, and we've had a pretty bad start of it. Running a little bit wide onto the back straight, hitting the wall, and Carlos Sainz is going to cruise past me with the help of DRS. But at the end of lap number 5, I decide I'm going to do something different for once. And I'm going to box early. I'm going to go for an undercut at my favourite track. I definitely had the pace. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Really? Now? Is he finished? Nope, he's not. You know what? I will conclude this part of the commentary. I will finish this another day. What, is he stopped? I guarantee the second I start commentating, it's going to start again. But we're going to go for it. So we come into the pit for an undercut, and we're going to come out in P19. It doesn't look great at the moment, but fresh tyres, relatively decent pace. Let's see if we can make this work, especially with those potentially on a 2-stop. Oh, brilliant. Yellow flags ahead. One less car to worry about. Bottas is out. It's a quick car as well. Brilliant. 1 down, 8 to go. I'm going to assume Verstappen had something to do with Bottas, because on lap number 6, a couple corners later, we pass a very slow moving Verstappen who's clearly got a puncher, and on lap number 7 we're going to make our positions thanks to pit stops. Everyone's pitting around about now. We can see if this undercut is going to pay off. Up into P13 we go. I'm pretty confident that's exactly where we were before we pit. On to lap number 9, up into P12, up into P11. One more? Nope. Sainz has jumped us. That's a bit upsetting. But we were given a lifeline at the end of lap number 9 as another car comes into the pit. So as we come on to lap number 10, we're going to be in P10 in the points for the second race in a row. We definitely don't have the pace to catch Sainz. All we're going to do now is defend against... Why did it have to be him? Well, it turned out that I didn't need to worry about Maldonado because he just did Maldonado things. We're in P10, we've got Massa behind, but in the sector that overtaking is illegal. After a horrendous run of form and genuinely wanting to destroy this car at every possible opportunity, we're going to come back after our break and we're going to score back-to-back points. We scored points in Italy. We've scored points in Singapore. It is another points finish in a Manor.
Are we there yet?
We get there when we get there.
So 6 races to go, I had 13 points to my name, which is 13 points more than I thought I was getting in this season. We were still 8 points away from the Caterham total of 21. Honestly, this car was so much worse than the Caterham that I wasn't optimistic I was going to be beating that. At this point in the season, 6 races to go, I was very much on the home stretch now. I just wanted to get to the end of the season, not races, admittedly. Away we go in Japan from P18. there's not really much point in commenting on the qualifying, given how we lose it immediately anyway. Side by side with Stevens into turn number 1, we're going to try and run the outside of everyone we can, with them going slow. We've got Ricciardo and Maldonado stuck. We're getting a legal overtake on Button, which we've got... Okay, we had Hamilton and Massa having a moment on the exit at turn number 2. And through that messy turn number 1, 2, 3, we only find ourselves in P16, which is considerably worse than it could have been. Especially considering we've got 2 much quicker cars behind. We're basically still P18. We're trying to push Button through the first sector. But admittedly, I've not been able to capitalise on the carnage that was turn number 1. As we've seen this season, I really need to gain a lot more positions if I'm going to get points. For example, if I just send up the inside of Button and push him wide, that's... Okay, I guess you can call that karma. That was very unfortunate and very comedic timing. I can't be too mad about it. I fully deserve that. But as you can imagine, that was my race over. Half a lap in. Next up was Russia, a track that has been famously boring both in real life and in the game. And this season was no different. I get an absolutely shocking start off the line, so bad that I'm not even able to make up any positions into the first braking zone. That's how bad my start was. We do manage to make up positions through turn number 3 and into turn number 4 down at the inside of 3 cars. We do manage to make the most of at least one braking zone this race. Up into P17 ahead of Nasser. I kind of wish it was Ericsson. And nearing the end of the lap, we're going to make up one more position on Jenson Button, a car that I'm sure absolutely hates me right now. From this point though, I'll be so honest, this race was actually quite boring considering I was making up positions. I was just making absolutely suicidal dive bombs into this corner, getting past as many people as I could, capitalising on how bad the AI are wheel to wheel, and that was kind of the only trick I had this race. So at the end of lap number 6 we're going to come into the pit from P12, then a lap later I find myself in P16, absolutely nowhere near the points and not on track for them either. So when I once again fall victim to the pathetic excuse of a contact model in this game, breaking my wing in the most pathetic way imaginable, I wasn't too mad. And as you could probably tell by this point, I'd mentally checked out. I got my 13 points, I wasn't expecting to get any more. Maybe at Brazil, we'll see how that goes, but on a whole, these last few races... Can you shut up please, I'm trying to commentate. Thank you. I'd checked out by this point. USA, I was running in my usual P14 spot after diving up the inside of turn number 1. 5 laps in, near my pit stop, the tyres were getting worn, and coming onto the back straight. I lose the back end. It wasn't intentional, but it's enough to total my car. And I'm sure if I did that exact same thing 10 more times, I wouldn't once get the same result damage-wise. Mexico started well with a P11 in qualifying, mainly because I was cutting every corner I possibly could. I won't show you those clips though, but as you can imagine, my poor starts really hindered me at the start of the race, because it's a very long run down to turn number 1, and a lot of time for the AI to absolutely swamp me before we get to the braking zone. I'm actually surprised I was only in P15 by the braking point, especially considering both myself and Button sent up the inside of quite a few cars, and Ericsson very validly says fuck off. So we only make it up into my favourite position, which is P14, and unfortunately behind Ericsson, so we're going to have to do something about that into the next braking zone. Can you see why I'm just sort of skimming over these races? Because they've all been basically the same. We get back up into P11, but we're now coming into a sector that is very reliant on downforce. So we won't be getting points this race. Especially after through the final corner I have a very unfortunate spin, which has an unfortunate impact into the wall. We get some unfortunate damage and an unfortunate bounce that pushes me away from the pits. And that's race over. You may think I'm just not trying at some points in these races, but it reaches a point where after the first lap, after the second lap even, maybe, you could tell you're not getting anything from this. I may not have mastered 2015 by any stretch of the imagination, but I was a master at knowing exactly what my race is going to entail at the end of the first lap. Would I have a chance at points, or would I be just defending and being eaten up down the straights and in the corners and eventually taken out either via the AI or my own incompetence? You just kind of learn to work that out. You get a feeling. Do you really want to watch me drive around in P14 and just force the AI off track. This is the exact reason I didn't do a proper season in this manner. It's just hell. It's absolute hell. 2 races to go, and next up was Brazil, which started out promisingly. We've seen I've got the pace of this track before. We currently sit P10, P12. Thank you for ruining my moment there. But up to the line we go from a final lap in qualifying. That's a bit underwhelming, I'll be honest. P11. It seems I didn't really have the pace for this track, at least compared to previous visits here. So I really needed to rely on the AI going for bizarre strategies, which we've seen before. I'll never forget Sebastian Vettel's famous 8-stop in a 50% race. But the start has not been good at all. We've lost out to Hulkenberg and Grosjean. Again, pace wasn't great at this track. I was very much relying on the AI for this one. Into turn number 4, we are within lunging distance of Nico Hulkenberg. We're going to go for it. Battling for that P12 on the opening lap. Next up we've got Sergio Perez. We're still side by side of Hulkenberg, who ever so slightly makes contact with me, and that's enough to, Jesus Christ, of course, utter chaos. It's enough to put my car off balance. I have absolutely no idea how I have not picked up damage from that. We've lost out massively position wise, down to P17, but like I hinted at the US Grand Prix, this game has got no consistency when it comes to damage. I should be out of this race, but I know I have decent pace of this track, so let's see if we can get back into this. But first off, we've got to fight through this field. First up was my teammate. Down the straight into turn number 1. It's a pretty straightforward move. For once, he doesn't try and defend against me like I did in Monaco. Coming down the main straight, I am chasing down the 2 McLarens, trying to get into their slipstream and DRS. However, running over a curb, I apparently hit some kind of invisible wall. I don't really know how to explain what just happened to me, but the best I can come up with was the game fucked me. So we're once again going to have to get past Stevens. First up though, we've got some chaos as we've got yellow flags ahead through the middle sector. Science is on the outside of the corner. Does that mean there's going to be someone with damage up ahead? Will someone be pitting at the end of this lap? Maybe we could get back into the... No, on lap number 5, Vettel has already caught into the back of me after making a pit stop. And most concerningly of all, because of that weird spin that the game fucked me with, Stevens was... This is difficult to say. Stevens... We weren't that fast. We managed to defend against Vettel purely down to our straight line speeds, but you can see on the right hand side my tyres were absolutely shot by lap number 7. But we have to go for one more lap because Stevens is boxing this lap. That, in the moment, that really pained me, I can't lie. You can see just how bad the tyres are as we're under pressure from Vettel. As we're overtaken by Vettel, I should say. And next up is Ericsson. Of course it's Ericsson. These tyres were just absolutely shot. This was ruining my race entirely. There was a chance I could get back into the points, but setting out for an extra lap on even more worn tyres than Stevens had, no doubt. This lap in particular just completely ruined the rest of my race. I just had absolutely nothing left to fight with. As you could tell, because I just let Ericsson through and I absolutely would never do that. So we come into the pit at the end of lap number 8, but this race was very much set in stone at this point. We were on for a bad result. On the plus side at least, we did stamp our authority on our teammate by catching on to the back of Stevens with our OP as fuck straight line speed. For some reason or somehow we managed to lap Ricciardo. I don't really know how I've lapped Ricciardo, but we get past Stevens into turn number 1 and P15 will be the highlight of this race. We didn't get the highs we did in the Sauber, and overall Brazil has been a pretty sour race. But we finished ahead of Stevens at least. One race to go. If you're expecting a good race to see out this season from me, strap in. We start P15, fairly decent qualifying, lights out and away we go for the final time. Let's just get to the end as quickly as possible, and by that I mean hopefully we can crash out. That would be nice. We've lost out to Grosjean and Button off the line. Going around the outside of Grosjean into turn number 1. Still unable to get back past him until we get to turn number 3. But nope, unable to take that flat. Grosjean's got back past us, we're going to send up the inside of the chicane. I know how this race goes, and I'll be honest, I can't even be bothered to commentate over this. We're not going to get points. It's not going to be a good race. It's going to be underwhelming. It's going to be an underwhelming end to this season. Much like the entirety of this season, it's going to be shit. We actually end up having a decent battle with Ricciardo. Obviously, the straight line speed car of myself versus the downforce car of the Red Bull. We managed to win that battle until we lose the back end on the exit of the corner. Grosjean somehow appears in P15, and then we've got Ricciardo on our inside, who absolutely wipes us out. And on the first lap of the final race of the season, we pick up a puncher. Game over. And nothing exposed just how much I'd lost it more than the final lap of this season. No, I don't mean the opening lap of the race. I mean my final lap, because despite having a broken wing and a puncture, I decided not to pit. And I decided not to pit because by the time I got to the end of the lap, I'd seen how far the leads were ahead. And I thought, can I complete a lap with a puncture before I get lapped? Allow me to present to you my final battle of this season. No, it wasn't for anything meaningful whatsoever, far from it. But arguably, it might be the most intense fight I've had all season.
Yes, well done.
So that is it. That is the Manor career mode. My god, was this hell. The Caterham career mode I got some enjoyment from at times. This one was consistently depressing. But we finished the season P14, 13 points to our name. We beat Marcus Ericsson. We beat the Saubers. We beat the McLarens in the Constructors. We got in the points just 3 times, and honestly, I think that's an accomplishment, considering how bad this car is. Maybe it's because I was just finished. I was happy with this result. I know that completing any old season on F1 2015 is always an underwhelming end because you just get this screen and it doesn't feel worth it at all. But I can confidently say it does not get more underwhelming and less rewarding than after you've done it in a Manor.
There stands a broken man. It's recess everywhere but in his heart.
I'm not doing this for 3k. I'll see you guys on F1 25. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 2,000 subs. Here's what's coming next.